So you want the Mediterranean life without having to pay ridiculous prices, without having to invest in a property, without having to set up a company in the country you're going for? Good. In the next 5 to 7 minutes, I'll go over 3 digital nomad visas that allow you to do exactly that. One of them even leads to a permanent residency. Now, before we get into the 3 visas, which are super cool, we need to go over what are they, how do they work, and what are the requirements to be able to apply. Nomad visas are pretty simple. They allow you to stay in a country for an extended period of time, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe more. They're renewable oftentimes, based on you earning a remote income through a remote job, through running a business, through freelancing, and any other means. So the first thing you'll need to apply is to have that income, and you need to be earning a specific amount depending on the visa. You also need to be able to prove that you're earning that amount, and you need to prove the source. So an employment contract, a business elsewhere, etc., etc. Aside from financial stuff, so that remote income, which it's pretty much centered around, you need some other formalities. You need a valid passport, you need valid health insurance, you need proof of accommodation, so you need to have either a rental contract in place, or you need to own a property there, etc. And you need a clean criminal record. So, without further ado, let's get into the first digital nomad visa on the Adriatic in the Balkans, and that will be Croatia, probably the most known one out of the 3. It's beautiful, it's stunning, long Dalmatian coastline, over 1,000 islands, delicious food, warm people, safe, and still pretty affordable compared to the European standard, and in comparison to US, Canada, and all of the big guns. Now, it has its price tag. You need to be earning 3,622 euros per month to be eligible, to be able to apply, and there's 2 small tweaks to the requirements. Number 1, you need 6 months of bank statements, opposed to just a few recent ones, and you need health insurance that covers the entire stay. Now, the length of the stay and the duration of the visa is up to 18 months, so a year and a half. Now, it is not renewable per se, but if you leave for 6 months, you can apply for it again. So after 18 months, you need to get out, spend 6 months somewhere else, and then you can get another 18 months after that. Now, Croatia is an EU country, and in comparison to the other 2, it's the most expensive. Again, it being an EU country is a big cause of that. People here pay with euros, so that might be a benefit, it might not. And otherwise, the application, it can't be done fully online. So there are in-person elements you need to do here physically in person. You can submit some stuff at the embassy, for example, but then you need to get your biometrics done here when you arrive. Now, this digital nomad visa, due to its own nature, doesn't really progress you towards anything like permanent residency, which on its own is quite rare, but the third one, there might be something there. But otherwise, Croatia, what can I say? It's a beautiful country, the coast is stunning, but the north is super underrated. Even here in Zagreb, in the capital, you're not gonna be spending obscene amounts of money. So that is digital nomad visa for Croatia. Digital nomad visa number 2 is none other than Montenegro. Beautiful, beautiful Montenegro. Mountains shooting up from the oceans, beautiful old towns like the Bay of Kotor, Budva, but also quiet, modern luxury like in Tivat and Porto Montenegro, plus many other areas. Montenegro and its digital nomad visa program are in an interesting position because it ends in December 2026. So they might renew it, they might not, they might change the requirements. If this is the one you want, you should get it now. It takes 2 months to approve, roughly. So there's a lot of urgency here if you want to go to Montenegro on a digital nomad visa, which you very well might once I tell you the details. Income you need. It's going to be either 1,800 a month, 1,800 euros a month, or 2,400 euros a month. This depends on your education believe it or not, because Montenegro has a specific minimum wage system where, depending on your education, there are differences. Either it's 600 or 800 euros. So you're going to pay triple the minimum wage based on your education. If you're uneducated, if you're a caveman, you save money. You gotta love that one. If you've hustled hard, went to school, got your degree, you're gonna have to pay up. I don't make the rules, but that's what it is, and it's still way cheaper than Croatia. Apart from that, it's a 2-year visa, so you can stay for 2 years, and you can renew for another 2 years. So you've got a total of 4 years in Montenegro, which is amazing. Next, 0% tax on foreign sourced income. Same as Croatia. Now, of course, in terms of taxes, double taxation treaties will apply. You obviously have to pay tax somewhere. The fact that you have 0% foreign sourced income tax in the country, right, doesn't mean you pay no tax. Always verify with your accountant, your tax advisor, and people who spend their life focusing on taxes. All right, don't take it from videos online from anyone, really, not even me. But that's what it is. 0% foreign sourced income tax. Now, this digital nomad visa does not progress you towards anything meaningful in terms of temporary residency or anything else. Now, what are you gonna get in Montenegro? Well, you're gonna get lower cost of living than in Croatia. You're gonna get equally as beautiful Adriatic Sea and coastline, pretty much equally as beautiful old towns and environments and nature. You're gonna get the same currency. Montenegro also uses euro, even though they're not a part of the eurozone. And so, yeah, to be fair, Montenegro is a good deal. You get very similar qualities for much lower amount of money, almost a fraction of the price. Now, of course, there is drawbacks. Healthcare is gonna be much more difficult in Montenegro, and you always want to go private, because public is not as high level, less spoken English, etc. I would say in Montenegro in general, English is spoken a bit less than in Croatia, but it's nothing huge. Infrastructure is a bit lower level compared to Croatia. Again, Croatia being a new country has a good head start compared to the other Balkan countries, but apart from that, damn good deal. Now, on to number 3, the black horse, Albania. Another beautiful, beautiful coastal country with phenomenal sandy beaches, beautiful clear water, and some of the lowest cost of living on the Balkans. Significantly lower cost of living than the other 2 countries we've covered so far, Croatia and Montenegro. Now, Albania has much more than just low cost of living, because the digital nomad visa has only 750 euros a month as an income requirement. So you could be making just 1,000 euros a month, you're in. Apart from that, all the same requirements apply. So you've got incredibly low cost of living, you've got very low income requirements. It's a 1-year visa that is renewable multiple times. First year is tax-free on foreign sourced income. Now, when you do more research, you might find that the 0% tax applies only to IT professionals. That was from early when they were setting it up, and yeah, there can be a lot of confusion online. But as of now, to my knowledge, 0% foreign sourced income for everybody. Then, from the next year onward, you pay the standard tax rates in Albania, which are ascending depending on the income. So here, it is gonna be super important to understand if Albania has double taxation treaty with your own country or not, and yeah, making sure all the taxes are handled properly. You pay Albania what it's due, you pay your country what they're due, and everything's fine. But yeah, apart from that, you get good deal for your money, really. Of course, again, you get what you pay for. So it is the cheapest. It is also the least developed. It has the worst infrastructure. It has the worst healthcare out of the 3. But it's not, it's not Somalia. Like, it's a European country, developing European country. Now, but again, you get what you pay for. So the standard is going to be the lowest for infrastructure, healthcare, spoken English, and a lot of other things compared to the other two, but you get in for $750 a month. I wouldn't be complaining. Plus, you get a ton of natural beauty. You get, again, those beautiful beaches, but also you get beautiful mountains inland, beautiful old cities, stone castles. Plus, Tirana is a very interesting, lively city. It is, I would say, much more interesting than Podgorica in Montenegro. People call it the most boring capital in Europe. So, yeah, that's what it is. But here's the kicker. This Nomad visa leads you to permanent residency, which is amazing. So the other visas, you can only stay on visa. It doesn't lead to permanent residency. The Albanian visa, you renew it enough times, you get permanent residency, which means you can stay indefinitely, forever, with pretty much the same rights as locals, apart from being able to vote and being in office for official positions. So that's amazing. That's amazing. Also, with the EU ascension being on the horizon, let's not rush it, but it's there for Albania. It could be a great opportunity for you to get a new permanent residency in a beautiful country that might be EU in relative. Let's not speculate. It's not in the EU yet. That's what it is. But inevitably, the ascension is gonna drive up the prices over time. So, again, sounds like a good deal to me. Now, last but not least, the honorable mention. Serbia. Probably the only place you might have heard about there is Belgrade, and that's for a good reason. It's an incredible city with incredible energy and something special in the air, because people, when they come, apart from the usual compliments Belgrade gets, they all describe something feels different. They feel at home, like they're supposed to be there. But now, what am I talking about? Digital nomad visa, Serbia. Well, Serbia doesn't have one. But there's something maybe even better, and that's the following. You can go there to Serbia and you can register as a sole proprietor, as a self-employed person. On the basis of that, you can apply for a temporary residence, 1 year, renewable three times, so up to 3 years, which comes pretty close. Now, here are the two kickers. Number one, the income requirement is 450 to 500 euros. The lowest one across the board. Number two, and this is where the fun begins, after those 3 renewals, 3 years total, you can get permanent residency. 3 years is a very quick pathway to get a permanent residency. And this is a very efficient way to get there. You don't need to buy a property. You don't need to invest in setting up a proper business. 3 years of this, permanent residency. Now, during those 3 years, as a sole proprietor, you'll be paying 10% income tax. Double taxation treaties apply, which means if your country has a double taxation treaty with Serbia, you're not going to have to pay both of them the full amount owed. Let's say your country has 20% income tax, Serbia has 10. That means at the end of the year, you'll pay 10 to Serbia and anything above that to your country. So if your country is 10, if your country is 20, Serbia is 10, you pay the difference. So 10 to Serbia, 10 to your country. So there we have it. The 3 digital nomad visas in the Balkans on the Adriatic: Croatia, Montenegro, and Albania, plus honorable mention to Serbia, because that pathway it's a good one. Now, if you are actually curious about getting one of these, traveling to those countries, staying for prolonged periods of time, number one, again, when it comes to taxes, documentation, consult professionals, proper professionals, people who do that for a living. It's not worth messing it up. Secondly, if you want to learn more about the Balkans, about different options of visas, residency, citizenships, how to pick the best place, and everything related to moving to Balkans or traveling there, I do have a free school that you can jump into where I have a lot of different breakdowns for a lot of different things, plus a growing community of people who are curious about that part of the world as well.